Reporting live from Cape Town, South Africa for Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. On the latest episode of Eddie Griffin's show, NNN, the comedian would share his thoughts on why he thinks Kamala Harris lost the 2024 presidential election. According to Griffin, it all came down to trans and LGBTQ issues. During the episode, Griffin would state he fought for a man to be a man and a woman to be a woman. He would go on to say that when he sends his boy to school, he expects him to return home as a boy. While Harris has been pretty silent on transgender issues, she would end up criticizing Donald Trump's campaign for heavily focusing on transgender rights via attack ads. She would call it a diversion from substantial issues. Trump is running tens of millions of dollars in ads to talk about two cases to distract from the fact that his policy and plan is also to take away the Affordable Care Act. Now, Trump's campaign ads have pushed misinformation about gender-affirming care while portraying Harris as someone who heavily supports the issue. The ads have aired in battleground states, focusing on transgender athletes, gender-neutral bathrooms, and healthcare access for incarcerated trans individuals, which, interestingly enough, is something the Trump administration also provided. It appears as though when it comes to this election, transgender rights was a big issue for Eddie Griffin and others as well, possibly making it a deciding factor that when folks began casting their vote. Today, we have our Comedy Hype analysts, Steve Brown and Sharon Larkins, on the show to talk all about it. But first, let's take a look at this clip.
We fought for a man being a man and a woman being a woman. Yeah, you know what my pronoun is? F you, boy. Get out that dress. And I also voted for, if I send my son to school with it, he better come home with the goddamn thing. F all you sons of bitches. Keep your hands off mine. I'm homeschooling mine anyway. They might be dumb and a motherfucker, but at least they safe.
All right, Steve, I'm coming to you first on this one. After seeing that clip of Eddie Griffin, what's your reaction?
I agree with Eddie. I really do. I didn't vote for Trump, but in that particular instance, I don't agree with my child, or my kids are grown, but kids being, with this transgender thing and all, it's just too much. You know what I'm saying? And I was raised that a man should be a man and a woman should be a woman, and we should respect each other as such. So I agree with that aspect of it. But other than that, I did go with Harris because of other, situations. But you can't have. It's like like whoever you vote for, you're gonna get some good and bad. But that right there, that stood out to me when it came to Trump.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are having that conversation. That was like one of the main points when it came to Harris. Sean, let me come to you after hearing from Eddie Griffin. What's your reaction to it?
I agree with some of the views of the conservative party as far as that goes. Now, I'm not going to go as far as Eddie Griffin. I'm not going to be calling people out their names. I think people should still be respected on how they feel. As far as children go, they are not as of age to be making sexual decisions about their body. When I was 10 years old, I wasn't ready for that. So it's not enough to sway me to vote Republican or vote for Trump. I would never have done that. But again, I do agree with them that we are making so many concessions in this country over, I don't know the exact number, but I would say probably 1%, maybe 2% of the population. Why are we changing everything in our country for such a minute population of this country? I just don't understand that.
And Sean, I want to back you up on that too, man. I do agree with that as far as, you don't have to call them out their names and all that. I mean, the respect is respect, let people be who they are. But, you can be who you are, but we don't need it affecting anybody else. We don't need you pushing your beliefs on anybody else. Right. And the thing you said about you being a kid, yeah, when I was a kid, I had to be altered. I had to be shaved down some because, I was a little bit too endowed.
Yeah. Stop it. Stop. See, Steve, I'm going to have to put you in the corner. No, but this is a serious topic. I remember early on, like when people obviously that are heterosexual, people would say like, do I say cis? Do I say I'm cis male or cis female? And a lot of people start to feel like, okay, now this is impacting me. I shouldn't have to change how I identify myself for someone else's comfort. So it has been a real issue. But we seen with Eddie, right? We seen one time we were talking on the show, he's talking about Trump. Next time he was saying he was voting for Kamala. It was kind of wishy-washy, but now we hear straight from him that he did vote for Trump. One thing I appreciate about you, Steve, even though you voted for Harris, you can point out like, those flaws. And I want to touch on some of those. Why do you think it is that she lost? Like, what do you think she could have done better to avoid the loss that she did experience?
Well, number one, I think she came in too late. I think Biden should have bailed out earlier to give her much more time. And then also, I think that she should have really made it her race instead of associating with what Biden had going on, and came, just kind of create her own identity and went from there. But I think ultimately she just came in too late.
Yeah. Now, Sean, I remember early on when we were having this conversation, you were kind of battling between the two, which I think is, looking back, it is something good to be able to take your time and say, hey, let me make sure I know exactly who I'm going to vote for. Looking back now, what do you think Harris could have done better to win this election?
Well, first of all, let me clear it up. I wasn't going back and forth between Trump and Harris.
Right.
I was going to say, will I vote for her or not vote at all?
Correct.
Yes,
That's what I meant. Let me.
Yes, you would.
Right. Don't give me no hate mail, okay?
No, let me clear that up. You were going back and forth about voting, yes, not about which candidate. Yes.
Yeah.
He voted for Trump.
So two things I would say about Harris. Maybe a couple things. Again, I do think she got in too late. Secondly, as dumb as you probably think Donald Trump is, I think he has some brilliant people behind him. Probably more smart than the Democratic Party as far as this election went. And thirdly, as much as I like Harris, I do not believe that this country is ready for a female.
No,
they are. I mean, and the numbers have shown overwhelmingly they don't want a female in charge.
Well, Sean, you know what? I disagree with that. As far as smart people behind him, you don't have to be smart to run your campaign based on racism. That's what he ran it on, just straight racism and bigotry. And
but that was smart, because what you got to understand is the people that were running before him never used that, and that's why he is so popular. Because Don, if you say X, Y, and Z, this going to spark this country. It's a bunch of sleepers that have been waiting for somebody to talk about building walls and to tear down the gay community all their life. And if you say it, you can get them votes.
Yeah, I get it. And another thing, they, like I said, they ran the race based on nothing but racism, nothing, and that's how they won. And to be honest, it's pretty much saying what we're going to do. We're going to come in and secure white power, because if we don't, we know what's going to happen in 20 years. That's what they did. That's why they had people ignoring everything Trump did, from the felonies to stealing, to doing everything he did, saying outrageous, crazy, disrespectful things. They ignored it because they knew what the agenda was. And no matter who it was running against him, their agenda was to secure white power. That's what it was to me.
If the Democrats do not learn from this, to learn that diplomacy is out the window, that morality is out the window,
Respect.
that these dudes are fighting with cannons and guns, and you out there handing out flowers, you better cut it out. You better fight fire with fire. All that. We're gonna take the love road,
marching.
You better come out swinging next time if you want a chance, because all that being nice shit, them days is over.
It's time to fight.
Rap for that.
It's time to fight. Al Sharpton, cut that perm and fight. We can't.
No, I think you both. I think you both make sense, Sean. You went actually in the direction where I was about to go. Like, I do think Trump's outspokenness, not being afraid to say the thing that a lot of people are thinking, and whether you agree with it or not, a lot of people felt like, you know what, I don't like what Trump said, but I know he's going to tell me the truth. Like, I at least know what I'm going to get with him. Whereas, where Kamala may have been a little bit more soft in the beginning, and she kind of, as time went on, but by that time it was too late. In the beginning, they're like, oh, she's probably hiding something. So I do think a lot of people like the outspokenness, whether you fully agree with what Trump was saying or not. I do feel like a lot of people did, kind of weigh in on that side a little bit. Obviously, Steve, I agree with you. I think she came in too late. The Democratic Party they knew what was going on with Biden way sooner. than when when he decided to step down. But go ahead, Steve. I got one more
And
for you.
also, yeah, he said a lot of truth, but he filled the truth with a lot of lies too.
Exactly.
A lot of lies and propaganda, and they believed it. And it was so believable and so crazy until the Hispanics, they bought in, and look at them. Now he getting them up out of here. Taco Bell done closed down on Tara Boulevard. I don't see no more food trucks, no Mexican food trucks. Taco Tuesday about to be gone. And now what we know is Home Depot is about to be Home Deport. You out of here because you listen to it.
Charlemagne says it best. Nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining. We're in a time where people want to focus on entertainment. But let me ask you all one more question, Sean. I'm going to bring this into you. What do you think the next 4 years is going to look like? Obviously, I know the thing that I hear from you, and it's crazy. I think I heard Eddie say it in his clip later on. We didn't watch it in this one, but he says the sun still came up. You were definitely like, hey guys, everybody breathe. The sun came up. But
there's going to be some changes, but water always levels out. And no matter how dark you think it is, it's going to be fine. Because again, I don't put my faith in no politician. My faith is in a higher, a higher being. So I'm not really worried about it. I can't get deported. Well, you going to send me back to Detroit? So I'm not overly concerned about it, what this country is going to look like. And for all those who did vote for Trump, think this is going to be your utopia. There's going to be some problems there too. You think it's going to be all good? It's going to be fucked up on your end too.
Now, always come with these smooth sayings. The water's going to level out. Do you know how many white folks died in Lake Lanier in the past month? Then the sun is going to shine. It's going to come up again. Yeah, it came up on the slave backs too. Listen, Sean, we sick of your smooth rhetoric. Maybe you should run for president because you really smooth with it.
You know who I would? I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know about you, Symphony, but you know who I would have loved to see run for president?
Who's
John
that?
Stewart. I wish John Stewart would run for president. I think he got the mouthpiece to what it takes to whip Trump's ass.
So you don't think what's his name? Cornel West? No, Cornel West. No, he can't. He ran
this election. He ran this election. He was on the ballot, and obviously it was just one of the ones that split up some votes. Steve, you answer my question. What do you think? What do you think the next 4 years will look like?
I think that for America is going to be a clown show. It's going to be very entertaining. But for us as Black people, we're going to continue being Black. We're going to continue being resilient. We're going to continue to move forward because we've seen this before. We're used to this, so we are the only race that can do it. So I'm still excited for us. I also believe, and what I want to believe, that these next 4 years is going to also bring us closer. We're going to finally wake up and do what Sean suggested, is fight back. We're going to, I think it's going to, because you can't continue to play in people's faces like that and expect for them to idly sit by. And also, you cannot tell people how to react to your disrespect. You can't do that. So, I really believe that this wake-up call that we've seen is going to bring us closer together where we can start manufacturing our own stuff. We're going to start supporting each other more and keeping the Black dollar Black. I just believe that. I see that coming, and I hope that it really happens.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, guys, I appreciate you for chiming in on this topic with me. I'm not going to, no, Steve, I'm not even starting with you. Sean, Mr. Smooth, because it's the outfit, it's the whole aura that you have going on.
What's it giving, Symphony?
That's a pajama top.
It's giving royalty. It's giving he's him.
That's a pajama top.
Steve, you can never.
Never, Steve. Sean, Steve Hayden, what you got coming up, Sean? Of course, how can people follow you?
Let's see. Nothing this weekend. I'm just going on vacation next weekend, going to Colombia next weekend with some friends. Just get away. Hopefully they'll let me back in the country when I headed back. So we'll see.
And how can people follow you on social media to keep up with your vacation? Colombia.
Sean, SEAN_Larkins. SEAN_Larkins.
Steve is hating so hard today. Steve told me you going to Columbia, South Carolina. Steve, what you got coming up? And of course, how can people?
Well, first off, I have some very, very exciting news. We got a big announcement. The big announcement is that I will be at the Chicago Improv December, I think 6th through the 8th. But before that, I'm going back out to Ontario, the Ontario Improv in Ontario, California. I forget the date, the 21st through the 24th. Tickets are selling fast. I'm excited. So y'all come on out and see your boy. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, one word, Comic Steve Brown, on my fan page, Comedian Steve Brown. And of course, you can see me on Comedy Hype, outdressing Sean.
I was gonna say, Steve, I like the colors. I like the colors. It's giving me I'm confident in being a man.
Do you want to see the bottom part?
I don't. We're going to go ahead and head out. I appreciate you both for chiming in on this topic. What you heard from us, now we want to hear from you in the comments below. What are your thoughts about Eddie Griffin responding to why Kamala lost? For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. Did y'all enjoy that? We've got so much more for you at hypersclub.com. Our exclusive interviews and backstage content gives you the chance to feel a part of the club. So what are you waiting for? Come on and join.